So it's a snow day here in Ohio, so my friend Alex and I, we're gonna head down to Hocking Hills and we're gonna photograph some waterfalls in the snow. So a little snow day here in Hocking Hills, Ohio. We're gonna hit Cedar Falls up first. It's currently snowing now. Alex says there's more snow on the way. I don't think I've ever visited here in the snow, so sort of looking forward to this. We got snow in the pines up there, which is pretty awesome. We're gonna head down the trail, get set up. As soon as Alex finishes loading his bags, let's go see what Alex is doing. What's going on, Alex?
Hurry, hurry.
So yeah, so we'll see what's going on. I think Cedar Falls should be pretty amazing in the snow. So heading down the trail, Cedar Falls, it's lots of downhill from here. Trail's pretty snow covered, trees look amazing. Still got a little bit of snow falling now. Try to get our way safely down the trail. So here we are at Cedar Falls. This is Cedar Falls. Getting some pictures. I've been doing landscape and portrait mode here, getting up around f/16, shutter speed of 2.5, and an ISO of 100. Getting a nice little blur effect on the water, I think. The water's coming down good, lots of icicles. The snow is amazing in the trees. It's a great time out here today, good time to be here. Just working on getting a different composition. Moved over this way a little bit, got these nice trees here on the right, snow covered with the falls coming down, very good force today. Get some of these to start in portrait mode on this, just because I'm trying to get the trees up in here into the frame, nice and big. Checking to make sure I get the blur I want on the water, and it is looking good. I like it. So again, very similar camera settings. The light's very even, so the settings are working through a lot of it. Shutter speed 1/2, f/16, and ISO 100. 5-second timer like usual, because I don't use shutter releases typically. Okay, we switched over to landscape mode. Still got a little bit of this tree framing in, but coming down a little lower on the falls. Check my motion blur on the water, make sure I still like it. Yep, I do. Cool. Yeah, dig that. Okay, just trying to get a different angle. I got these nice snow-covered rocks up here in front of me, so I want to try to get that worked into the shot a little bit. Now they're a little overpowering. I'll move this way. Okay, that works a little better. Before, the rock was overpowering my scene. Check the histogram here. Pull this out just a little wider. Feels like it may be a little too wide. Yeah, let's gonna try to slow the shutter speed just a touch. Okay, and then we're gonna just swap this into portrait mode. Oh, I think I like that composition better. Check that histogram. Liking this composition better than landscape. Settings are still very similar. I did have to change my shutter speed to 1/4. So f/16, ISO 100, 1/3 shutter speed. And just playing with compositions here, trying different things out. It's sort of like a kid in a candy store right now. The snow is amazing. I've been to Cedar Falls. I've lost track of how many times. It's maybe my first time in the snow, and it was worth every bit of the drive, while assuming we get out of the parking lot, but amazing, just amazing. Again, shooting with 24-200, it's quickly become one of my favorite lenses because it's so versatile, but on a day like today where the weather's bad and I don't want to do a lot of lens changes, the 24-200's worked out great. I actually set up underneath one of the cave overhangs, so everything was dry, put my lens on, and now I get the whole range to play with without having to switch lenses or anything like that in the snow. So it lets me move sort of quick, keeps the camera sensor safe in this weather, so yeah, it's all good. Just playing with compositions, different focal lengths, seeing how that goes. It's looking pretty good. Video camera's about to die. Got to do a swap out on that, so we're gonna go ahead and shut it down. We'll play around and see what Alex is up to. So we'll just play around and see what Alex is up to and go from there before this battery dies. So wrapping up at Cedar Falls right here, probably the last shot. We got all sorts of crazy cool footage. It's been an amazing time. We're gonna bounce over probably Old Man's Cave area, take a look at Upper Falls, Lower Falls. We'll see what goes on, but it's been a great morning so far. Oh, hold on. Alex, what do you think?
I didn't lose my drone in the water and I can't feel my hand.
Awesome, success. So hiking out from Cedar Falls, heading back up to the parking lot. From here, we'll cruise over to Old Man's Cave and probably hit Upper Falls, Lower Falls, see the Devil's Bathtub. But yeah, so Old Man's Cave next. We'll see how crowded it is over there. Here's been great. Only a couple people came through while we're photographing, getting things done. Yeah, there's Alex. And here we are over at Old Man's Cave area. We're gonna hit Upper Falls first, which is just down this trail, and down we'll hit Upper Falls, we'll hang out there. It's a neat little place, and then we'll cut through the gorge down at the bottom over to Lower Falls. Still looks like awesome time out, lots of snow still in the trees. Snow is still coming down, so that's pretty cool. Let's see where Alex is at. I think he's still packing gear. There he is.
Cheese stick.
Oh yeah, food. I expect it to be just a little more crowded here because the parking's easier. Everyone knows about the spot. Cedar Falls, where we're at before, it's still fairly popular, but not quite as many people know about that parking area and things like that. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Hiking into Upper Falls at the Old Man's Cave area. You can sort of get to it right off the parking lot, a lot of snow-covered trails. It's down in this gorge over here, down in the gorge over there. Looks like there's several more people here than there were over at Cedar Falls, which I sort of expected would be the case. Usually though, their attention span's not super long, so if you're patient and wait, you can get some decent pictures. There goes Alex. So you can usually get some decent pictures if you're patient and sort of wait for them to head on their way. You can usually get gaps of time. So we'll see what this looks like in the snow. Should be pretty cool if I don't fall down these steps. Upper Falls, Old Man's Cave area, lots of snow. Got the bridge, got the trees with the snow in them. Nice snow right along where the creek is falling over into the pool below. Just trying to get my shot lined up. Of course, using the histogram. A lot brighter because I got the sky in here a little more than I want. We may play with that composition to get it out of there. And because everything is so bright, I'm actually gonna put an ND filter on because I got a little bit of sky up here. I have a foreground with lots of white snow in it, and it's really putting the falls into the shadows a little more than I want. So I'm gonna try to put an ND filter on, see if I can get a little more to where I wanna be. So we'll give that a whirl. Okay, so I put on my ND filter. It is a 6-stop ND filter. Still working on dialing in my camera settings from there. See what we get. Even with an ND filter, you still want to watch your histogram. It's really what you want to keep an eye on. So right now we're going to do this as a test shot. So with the ND filter on, I bump my ISO up to a 200. I'm at f8 and I'm a shutter speed 1.6 seconds. Let's see what this looks like. Should give me super smooth water. Question is it too smooth? Oh, not too bad. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit more so I can drop a little more of that sky out of there. Watching the histogram, I can actually slow the shutter speed. I'm down to 2 seconds. So 2 second shutter speed, f8, ISO 200. Yeah, I like that. Okay, let's toss some in portrait mode just so I have those. Okay, and then recompose the image. Okay, so what I got now is I'm in portrait mode. I got this nice pine-like tree to the left of the bridge that's up here. This bridge, I'll show you in a second. Got the falls coming down, got snow-covered trees over here. Checking the histogram. I'm starting to bump that right-hand side of the histogram, but I'm gonna go ahead and stick with 2-second shutter speed, f8 aperture, ISO 200. Take a peek at the water. Yeah, I think I like that shot. That's pretty good. I'm not gonna really change anything. Let me show you what I'm looking at. I'm up here on this ledge. It's actually, I photographed here before. Today we're just trying to make sure I don't get killed by, oh, can you see them? There they are. These icicles overhanging, don't want those to follow me. That would suck. The one rule we had was no squad is allowed to come save us, so we're trying to keep up with that. So I'm up on this ledge off to the side of the falls. The falls is right over there, of course. Camera right there, that. And then I was framing the image with that pine tree right there on the left when I was in portrait mode. That's framing the left side of my image. Snow-covered trees on the right, nice little bridge that goes over the waterfall, and of course the upper falls themselves, a little bit of snow in the foreground. So yeah, a little bit of playing around up here on this ledge, up by Upper Falls over there. I think we got time. I'm probably gonna head over. There's these snow-covered trees right over here, which I think might make for an interesting composition. So we're gonna just sort of bounce over there, see if we can find anything cool from there. And then I think we'll probably head down the trail past Devil's Bathtub and down to Lower Falls. So now we're sort of bouncing over here at the other side of the falls, Upper Falls. I was over there at the ledge that's over there. Now I'm over here, and the reason why is because we've got snow-covered trees here. So I'm just gonna see if I can incorporate those into the frame real quick before we head on. I should save this one for my shutter speed video that I've got coming up, because here's a situation where I've got the water doing what I want, but there's just enough breeze here that this tree limb that I wanted with the snow on it is moving. So my shutter speed is too slow, and I'm getting motion blur from that. What I'm gonna do, I still have the ND filter on because I was liking the way the shots looked up there, but in order to get my shutter speed back up to where this motion blur is not gonna be a problem, I am going to pull the ND filter off the front of this lens and see if I can get the shutter speed I want, because I like how it's framed, but the movement is gonna be distracting in the final image. So let's take a look at that and see how we go. Okay, so I've taken the ND filter off the front of my camera, which has let me get back to a shutter speed about 1/4, which not much wind right now. So we're gonna take a fast shot just to see motion blur wise. Yeah, that worked. Those longer shutter speeds I was getting with the ND filter got me the water I really wanted, but then these limbs were moving, which gave me the motion blur. So pulled the ND filter off, dropped back to an ISO 100, f16, shutter speed 1/4. Perfect. One more, and then I'll pack it up. Okay, and we're gonna wrap up here at Upper Falls, and we're gonna make our way down to Lower Falls, see what kind of stuff we can get into there. I got a couple cool compositions here, pretty happy with it. There's really no bad picture to be taken today on this snow, so it's pretty awesome. So let's see if Alex is ready to go. Alex?
We're ready to go.
Ready to go. So we're gonna head on down the trail towards Lower Falls, and we'll pick back up there. So many icicles hanging this time of year all along the walls. You don't even realize how wet this place really is until it all freezes, as it all starts to drip down off the canyon walls and things like that. So yeah, super cool with all the icicles and just gigantic, huge icicles just all over. Pretty cool as we head on to Lower Falls and see what kind of trouble we can stir up there.
Welcome to Hocking Hills. I'll be your guide today. I've been walking these hills for a better part of 48 years.
we're still on our way to Lower Falls. We're just passing the Old Man's Cave area, which we're bypassing today. We're gonna go around this way, up a big set of steps, over the bridge, and then we'll be at Lower Falls, and we'll see what we see over there. Okay, so we're trying to make it down to Lower Falls. We just came down these steps. They're sort of treacherous in the ice and snow. We're headed down this way, down to the falls. They look like they're running pretty good today. Lots of snow. So yeah, a little bit more down. As long as we don't break our neck down these steps, we should be good. Okay, we made it down the steps down here to the Lower Falls. It's off there in the distance. We just have to work our way around this little bridge right over here. Work our way to Lower Falls. We'll spec out some compositions and we'll get some photos. And I believe this is our last stop of the day for our snow day at Hocking Hills. Let's see what Lower Falls brings us. And here we are at Lower Falls right there. We're gonna set up, we're gonna figure out what compositions we want from here. The famous big old boulder, snow covered, super cool. The creek over here has got some ice in it. If I can figure out a way to get some of that, that'd be cool. Could be hard though, it's cold.
Are we on the ice?
I was wondering similarly. I don't think so. We are wondering if we're standing on the dangerous ice right now. I don't think we are. So yeah, I wouldn't mind trying to play, see if I can get some of this frozen creek in there. It is the last stop. I guess I could get my feet wet. Still snow-covered trees. Water's running really good. Yeah, let's get set up, see what we can get. Don't know if my boots are tall enough. We are going to find out. Okay, I just sort of crossed the creek right here, hoping my boots are waterproof enough to pull that off. It's our last stop, so if they're not, I think my feet will only be cold for a little bit, so we'll see what we can get. So I'm gonna work my way up here, this side of the creek, because I want this, what I want is, I want this icy creek coming up to the falls to get that in my shot. So we're gonna see how that pans out. So I'm gonna cut up this way, and I'm probably gonna end up setting up right in this area, probably like right in here, and we'll see what we get. Okay, I've just been getting some shots here at Lower Falls, sitting right out there. We'll talk through a couple of them here, just waiting for the path to clear again. We'll talk through what I've been doing. Did end up using an ND filter, just trying to get that falls to look nice and silky smooth with a lot of the snow on the ground. Got the picture I wanted with this little creek right here, sort of leading into it. So pretty happy with this composition. We'll talk through it in a second here. And then I think I'll bounce over that way, just look for something cool, composition there. And then I think we're looking pretty good. We do have to trek back this evening, try to get back before dark, go from there. But yeah, amazing day out, well worth a snow day. It's just so many photograph opportunities here. It's just been awesome.
So many photograph opportunities, so many stairs.
Okay, we're all set up at Lower Falls, Old Man's Cave area. Super cool, falls coming down, good water flow. Now I've got the little creek with frozen bits of ice and snow-capped rocks and things like that. So I'm sort of set up here after having crossed the creek. I put the ND filter on, trying to get that water to be nice and smooth. So pretty long exposure on this. Shooting portrait mode so I can get the creature leading into the falls. I've actually got a 13-second exposure, f11 and ISO 100. I do have my 6-stop ND filter on here. And this will sort of smooth out the falls and the ripples in the water coming through the creek. Once this exposure is done, we'll take a look at the falls and see how smooth they are. They are nice and smooth. And I'm also gonna check the ripples in the creek just to see what they look like. And they're pretty smoothed out too. So I'm gonna grab one more shot of this. Perfect, looks good. Cool, so this is my little setup here. Falls back here, I like these. I did a portrait mode to get the creek sort of running into the falls, as well as a landscape to get the big snowy boulder over there in. Pretty good, the falls are looking great. I think we're gonna pop over that direction just a little bit, take a few more shots over there, and then I think we gotta start the hike out of here, because for some reason the hike out is always painful. So I think there's more stairs, so we'll do that. Okay, this is probably the last composition of the day. Sort of came over to this side of the falls. It is starting to snow a lot more now. Maybe the most snow we've seen since we've been out this morning.
I know there was more coming.
Yeah, so a lot of snow right now. So I'm gonna sort of make this a little quick just to go through it. But I got a nice bank of smooth snow. Falls coming over, still got the rock, a little bit of trees coming in over here. It should be pretty cool. We'll give it a whirl and see what happens at Lower Falls. Okay, so we got the falls coming over, got the big rock over there. Watch the histogram. No ND filter this time, just mainly because we're trying to move through sort of quick. I got a shutter speed of 1.6, f/16 aperture, and ISO 100. I got the histogram right up there over there towards the right. I must have a snowflake on the front. Big old snowflake right on the front of my lens. Yeah, I'm like, why is it blurry in the middle? Okay, so got the snowflake off the front of the lens. So there's enough snow that it's actually blurring out in the frame and giving it sort of a funky look. So we're gonna bring the aperture down to more like f8, so I can really get this shutter speed sort of up there a bit. Again, watch the histogram for my exposure. Switch me at 1/6 of a second, f8, ISO 100. And what I'm trying to do is see if I can get better snow. Still not good. So I'm gonna kick my ISO up to 200 so I can speed my shutter up a little more. We're gonna go even faster. So to get that, I'm gonna bump up to ISO 400. Lets me get my shutter speed to 1/25 of a second. Then my falls go wonky. So I'm struggling just a little bit with the bounce between, it's snowing so heavy right now that they're blurring. So I sort of want to shutter speed fast enough so the snowflakes are solid, but then my water sort of gets goofy. Yeah, I'm not sure I like these. So yeah, we'll see. This has been a challenging shot. We'll see how they turn out when we go. Sometimes that happens, you get out there and there's just, conditions are a little challenging. This is being a bit of a challenge. Now that the snow slowed down, I think I start to like it better. Kick that on more. So now I'm at 1 second, f/16, ISO 100. Okay, I know I said I wasn't gonna do it. We're gonna toss the ND filter on really fast so I can maybe get this in one shot. What my hope is this will cause the snow to not blur because it'll pass through. ISO 100, f11, have to slow my shutter speed way down and bring that histogram over. So now I'm at a 20-second exposure, f11, ISO 100. The hope is my water blurs, and then even though there's snow moving through the frame, it's gonna not pick up because the exposure is so long. We're gonna see if it works. Yeah, I think that's it right there. That ND filter, I think, did the trick. Take one more frame, and we're gonna call it a day, pack up. Okay, and that's a wrap for Lower Falls. We got some snow in here. That last little shot was sort of challenging. We'll see how it turns out, trying to balance water and snowfall and the whole bit. We'll see how I did. You know, a challenge is always good. But yeah, amazing day out of Hocking Hills. It was a great snow day, well worth coming out. I can't, lost track of how many cool photographic opportunities there were. We barely scratched the surface, really just focused mainly on the falls and, you know, little bits of footage on the way through the gorge and other places. But completely awesome time. Great thing. Got to hike out of here. Big set of steps. For some reason, it's always tiring on the hike out. Yeah, we'll head out. Woo. These are the killer steps. They go all the way up here, circle around the base of the cave, through I think a tunnel, and then another set of steps. So for some reason, it always wears me out. So we're gonna start hiking out so we can make the trek back home. Here we are up the first set of steps. I'm already tired. So made it up the last set of steps. We survived. Now it's off to the car, the parking lot. So definitely a successful snow day out at Hocking Hills. We hit Cedar Falls, Upper Falls, Lower Falls, several spots in between. Got lots of great pictures, I think. Well worth the trip out. Definitely be looking for snow forecast in the future because it was well worth the trip. So if you liked today's video, don't forget to hit that like button. And if you want to see more landscape photography content from me in the future, including behind the scenes like this, gear reviews, and tips and tricks, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below so you don't miss any content. And thank you for watching.